What is going on my wonderful people out there? It is your boy Dread Zero, and in this video, we're going to be going over who I think Potemkin's funnest matchups are in Guilty Gear Strive. So this is not a traditional tier list. I will not be talking about Potemkin's strength versus each character, how Potemkin fares against it. There will be some elements in that because that does, incorporate how much fun you have in a matchup. However, we were strictly going to be talking about how enjoyable I find fighting each character as Potemkin. So let's get right into it. Alright, so first we gotta have Potemkin because this is a Potemkin matchup chart for how fun things are. So there we go. And then for the categories, I think we should have ridiculously. And sorry if my spelling is terrible because it usually is. Then we're gonna have, your standard just fun. Then we're gonna have neutral. Oop, spell that wrong too. Getting blasted right now. Then we're gonna have, I'm gonna say unfun. I know that's not a word, but here we are. This is my tier list. And then we're gonna have toxic and probably dodge. Probably dodge. Like, I'm not gonna dodge like everybody, you know what I'm saying, but like if I don't really have that much fun, there is a chance that one day I'm gonna hop on the game and be like, I don't feel like playing you today, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so first we have Happy Chaos. I'm gonna put this in unfun. I know a lot of people are probably expecting me to put it in toxic, and I'm probably gonna dodge it. Honestly, depending on the day, it honestly could change between the two. However, I don't think this matchup is so unfun that I think it's toxic and that I would dodge Happy Chaos most of the time. And here's why. So, I think the interaction between Gunshot and Potemkin's armor moves such as Slide Head and Hammerfall make it a little bit somewhat interesting. Like, of course he could probably, depending on the timing, he could probably just shoot and jump and all that different stuff. However, I do think there's a slight chance for you to hit Happy Chaos for that. And honestly, that's a little bit fun, but not the whole matchup itself is just like unfun. But it's not so bad to where I feel like it's toxic and I would avoid Happy Chaos every single day of the week. Alright, Baiken. Where do I want to put Baiken? I think, you know what? I'm gonna put Baiken in fun, and here's why. So I like the idea of punishing Baiken with pot busters, and so because Baiken has parry, a lot of Baikens end up relying on it a lot to deal with your strikes, and so that leaves a huge opening for you to get a fat pop buster. And who doesn't play Potemkin to have a pop buster? I mean, maybe you don't, but I play Potemkin because I love the fact that his whole game plan is surrounding that. Now it does come to a fault sometimes, but on Baiken specifically, I think there's opportunities for a pop buster for punishes. So like if she goes for a parry, pop buster. If she jumps in with jump S and Yozansen and she does not space it correctly and she has no meter, pop buster. And I also really like the fact that if a Baiken player grabs and goes for tether and it lands and they mess up, then you can just like mega fist over and over again. And if they don't have like their parry things together, their parry time is, and you delay it, like it's just really fun and stupid. It's a dumb interaction and I really kind of like that. I also like the heavenly pop buster loops that you can do on Baiken with tether if they mess up. So I do think this matchup is fun. Anji. I think I play this matchup a lot because my friend plays Anji and he's really good. I think this matchup is fun. And the reason why this matchup is fun is because Anji can't really use spin on you. And if they go for spin, which is like one of their main neutral tools, like they just get pop buster for free. And it's really funny. It's also funny because I think that in the corner, like Pi is just like smashing Anji, because if they go for their projectile out of Fujin, you can just 5p it, and I think that's ridiculous because it's such a fast move, and it's like, dang, I was really just trying to go for my pressure, but I'm really taking so much risk, and I find it enjoyable. It's hilarious, and you can really just like mega fist quite a bit of Fujin options in the corner especially. So I do think this matchup is pretty fun. Axl. A lot of you might be thinking I might be putting it here. But I'm gonna put it neutral because I don't really have fun and I really don't not enjoy it either. So when I'm playing Axl, I really am just trying to learn the matchup. I'm really just trying to see what Axl does. It's a very serious thing for me. Like I don't think it's not fun and I don't think it's fun either. I'm really just trying to pay attention to see what Axl's doing, see if he's gonna throw any rinses that I can flick back, see if he's gonna use a lot of jump S. And so I'm really just trying to really focus, and so therefore I'm just trying to get better when I'm playing Axl. I'm not saying I don't get better, I'm trying to get better against other characters, but specifically Axl when I'm playing against him, I am just trying to really focus. So I don't really have fun, and I really don't not enjoy it either. Chipp. I think this matchup is toxic, and I will probably dodge because I do not enjoy fighting Chipp. And let me tell you why. Chipp is so unfun if you are a Potemkin player. He can literally walk up and disrespect you for free, bro. My friend who also plays Anji, also plays Chipp, is really good. And we have done several matches, and I've done a decent amount of matches of Chipp online. And literally, as Potemkin, there's very few options you can do. Like you can throw out you want to throw out low middle options like 2P, 5P, and the thing with 5P is like Chipp has to be really close and dashing up to you to hit him. So because the forward hitbox on 5P is not that far, like it'll lose to. And Chipp has 3 frame moves, and he just walks up and disrespects you for free. And you have to hold his pressure. Oh my god! And because you're mostly in the corner versus Chipp as Potemkin, the chance for a wall break is really high, and if Chipp gets a wall break on you, it feels like a checkmate situation because he has the infinite and he just gets ridiculous pressure when he is in positive bonus, and this feels terrible. The only fun part about fighting Chipp as Potemkin is that he loses so much life for getting hit by Heavenly or getting hit by Puffbuster or anything really, but catching him and dealing with him, it feels very toxic, and honestly, if I'm not feeling it, I'm dodging Chips, bro. I'm sorry, Chipp players, but like this matchup feels very toxic to me. So there you go. Faust. Okay, so I find fighting Faust as Potemkin ridiculously fun. There's so many goofy interactions when you're fighting Faust, like the afro. I love when Potemkin gets the afro because he looks so dumb and like he just doing all these crazy things like Mega Fist, and then if he whiff Pop Buster with the afro, it just looks really crazy. I know that's not a fun experience to whiff Pop Buster without meter, but it's fun. I also like how Faust always keeps me on my toes because of his items. And I like the potential for his items to actually help me. And I get combos that I don't get on other characters from like his little minions coming out. When the bomb comes out and explodes, I can flick it back and get pressure. Like it's just so much fun, and there's so many goofy interactions. Also, because Faust floats in the air, Kara Heat Knuckle is really good against him, and I get to use Heat Knuckle more, where in other matchups like I don't really get to use it a whole lot, and so that puts Faust in the blender even if he blocks it, and so I really do enjoy this matchup. Plus, if I get hit by a super, I like seeing Potemkin go, when he gets hit by the wheelchair. So I really enjoy fighting Faust, and I usually, if I see a Faust in the lobby in ranked or in the park or wherever, like I really will make it a point to go and find Faust because I enjoy fighting him so much. So Giovanna, this is neutral for me. Like I don't think there's any interactions with Geo where like I feel like it feels so bad that I think it's unfun or toxic. But it's also not very fun because Geo at the core is like a very basic character. I'm not saying that like people who play her are basic, but Geo at the core of her character design is a basic character, and so the whole like I'm strike throwing and she's strike throwing, and it's just like whose strike throw is better, and so I don't really find that fun. It's just neutral for me. So Soul. Soul is fun. Soul is fun. I like Soul because whenever I fight Soul, it feels so aggressive. And yes, I know to maybe to other Potemkin mains, other Potemkin players, like Soul can feel really aggressive on you, and that's very true. But the reason why I find Soul very fun is because I never know what Soul is gonna do. And that keeps me on my toes, and I love punishing Soul. Punishing Soul for doing his moves is very fun. Like, for example, if he comes towards you with Bandit, I think it's Bandit Revolver that kicks in the air, and he doesn't do it right, or he only does part of it and doesn't do his mix right, that's a free pop buster, or that's a free punish, and it's just really goofy. Also, I love his moves. When he comes out of the air with, I think that's Bandit Bringer with the fire coming down. Like, it's just you have a lot of interactions to punish Soul, and so I really do enjoy fighting Soul. I know he's really aggressive, and most players that play him are also really aggressive, and it can be annoying. Like, sometimes it can go down here. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it can go down here, but for the majority of the time, I do usually have fun fighting Soul. So, Kai. All right, you guys are probably gonna be like, what? But I find Kai so unfun. Stun Dipper, like, and I know it's probably just me, but I'm so free to Stun Dipper. Like, it's not even funny. I'm so free to that move. It's 5 frames, so like I always get hit by it. I also feel like when I'm fighting Kai, I just feel really disrespected, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's like, how dare you do, how dare you do stun edge in my face? And like, yes, I'm not reacting to it all the time, but dude, it feels so unfun because it just feels like Kai is just smoking you. Also, I feel like his DP extra disrespectful. I don't know why. I just have that personal feeling. It just feels extra disrespectful to me. So I don't find Kai unfun, and honestly, when I'm fighting him, I'm a little frustrated. Not gonna lie. Leo. Leo. Uh, Leo. You know what? I'm gonna put Leo in neutral, just because I don't find him fun, or I don't find the matchup so unfun that I would put him in these other two categories here. I just think that with Leo, it's one of those situations just like Axl, where like I'm really trying to pay attention to what he's doing because he does have pretty good mix, especially in back turn. I'm really just trying to focus, so I'm hyper focused when I'm fighting Leo. I'm not really paying attention on whether or not I enjoy it. I'm just trying to learn and make sure that I don't get smoked. And so yeah, it's kind of like an Axl situation there. So it's not fun, but it's also not unfun or toxic to me, to where I would probably dodge Leo. So, there we go. May. All right, so a lot of people might be surprised that I'm not going to put May here or here, but I'm actually going to put May in fun. And so May versus Potemkin traditionally is not very good for Potemkin. However, the reason why it's so fun is because Mays like to jump, okay? And May already had a good jump arc before the recent patch, but they buffed her jump arc in this recent patch. So Mays are just always off the ground, pretty much. There's rarely a May, and there's rarely an interaction with May where I am not trying to fight her in the air. And what's so good about that, and what I enjoy the most, is that she is just getting taken in a Heavenly Pop Buster for free if I have the meter, if she does not do her jump ins correctly. And usually I time it to where like she's almost deep in, so I can get that invul start up for Heavenly Pop Buster, and then she just gets taken to heaven. And I also have the Bane mod on, which if you do a Heavenly Pop Buster and it lands up in the sky, it's just like a whole bunch of Bane comics through the years, and I really enjoy that, and I think that's a pretty sick mod. And so I really enjoy fighting May, because I get to take her to heaven so much. Also, while Heat Knuckle, because her jump arc is so good that you might not be able to land Heat Knuckle, you can land 6P quite a lot on her if she's not doing it right, which honestly a lot of mates that I have fought they're a really good mates that don't get hit by it, but a good chunk of them have been hit by my 6P when I do it, and so that just puts them in the blender for the pressure for Garuda, or I can take him to heaven again after, or I can do Gigantic Kai. It's just really fun fighting May because I get to use the tools that allow me to anti-air a character because she jumps so much. So I do enjoy that fun matchup. Millia. So I think it's unfun. I did read on Dustloop, and I have heard some things on Twitter where people have said that Pot beats Millia, and even if he does, I personally just really don't enjoy fighting fast mobile characters as Potemkin because it just feels so clunky. Like they're literally her and Chipp are literally skipping around the screen, doing crazy jumps, dashing at you, and it doesn't feel like there's much that you can do. And besides kill them with your damage, which you can do. However, specifically with Millia, her air game is just so ridiculous, and honestly, I am so free to her mix-ups that like it's just not a fun situation for me. I'm not gonna dodge her like Chipp. Because I don't feel like I'm getting disrespected to the point where I can't really move. But Millia is unfun when I do play her against her, and I just don't enjoy that. And it feels like I'm swatting a very, very fast fly in the air. Nagoryuki. Before the patch, I was gonna say that he's unfun, but now it's a neutral. With the potential to be fun. Okay, so let me say it again. Before the patch, it was unfun. Now it's mostly neutral with the potential to be fun. So when it's a neutral, I'm really just focused again on what Nago is doing. I'm really trying to learn. But it gets fun when Nago is in high blood now because I get to kill Nago for taking risks with his blood moves. When I see a Nago pop, dude, and it's just party time. Also, when I see a Nago in level 2 and level 3, and they're not really using their blood moves, I'm like, dude, like, I'm about to have so much fun with you. And Garuda pressure is a little bit better on Nago because Nago doesn't really have the greatest of jumps. And so I really just get to mix Nago. So those are the times where I'm like having a lot of fun against Nago. But most of the time it's just neutral. When he is just like throwing out large buttons that smoke me, and I'm just really trying to figure out what's going on. So we're gonna put him here for now because the blood moves, but I would say most of the time it's neutral. Ram. Ram is unfun. I don't like Ram. A lot of people don't like fighting against Ram. But specifically as Potemkin, her buttons are just as large, if not larger than Potemkin's buttons, and they're faster. So I feel like I get smoked in a lot of interactions in neutral, which is Potemkin's weak point, obviously. But then not only that, she's throwing projectiles what makes this one really unfun is that if a Ramlethal player knows what they're doing and they throw a sword at you, you can flick the sword, right? But if they got their pressure locked down, they're gonna punish you for trying to flick the sword. And it's like I literally have a move that is meant to deal with projectiles, but on you, your projectiles and your game plan is so good that I get punished for using the move that's supposed to punish you for throwing a projectile at me. That's why I find that's why I find this matchup very unfun. I don't enjoy it, and it just kind of irritates me that I can't use flick the way it's supposed to be used because her projectiles and her movement and pressure is so good that it will punish you for using a move that's supposed to punish a projectile. So that's why I don't really like it that much. Zato. This is clear. It's toxic, and I'm probably gonna dodge you. I think this is Potemkin's worst matchup. There's not much you can do. Just like Chipp, I feel like I'm getting locked down. However, it's not as fast, but it's just on a whole nother level. And in fact, I'm gonna put him before Chipp because Zato has a very special place in my heart. When I fight Zato, I literally feel like I'm being mauled, dude. It's not fun. I feel like I am just getting smacked around, and I have very few opportunities to do it to him, and it just feels like I'm being smothered by Eddie. And then when I try to go for something, oppose. It's just like I don't really like fighting Zato, and on a day where I'm just not in the mood, I'm gonna dodge it, and it just feels very, very toxic. So yeah, Goldlewis, toxic and unfun. Whoever thought at Arxis to give a character this many guard crushes, I don't know what you're doing, bro. But this matchup, again, this is a bad matchup for Potemkin, but I have other bad matchups that I think are fun or neutral or whatever, but this matchup, it feels so unwinnable if Goldlewis gets started. if you get started on Goldlewis, then it moves up to neutral. Okay, so it's really whoever gets their pressure started first. But most of the time, Goldlewis is gonna get his pressure started first because his buttons are better than yours, and then you get trapped in a behemoth loop pretty much, and you have to use so many resources just to get him off. And Potemkin needs resources to be a better character. Not saying you need resources all the time, but I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say that Potemkin doesn't have like somewhat of a crutch for having resources. So against Goldlewis, I'm using all my resources to get him off me, and somehow he's still in there. So I really think that matchup is very toxic and unfun. Testament. I think Testament is fun. Obviously, I can flick their projectiles. Their game against us with projectiles is really fun, and I love using flick. I think flick as a move itself is really cool, and so anytime that I get to use flick in general, I'm gonna think that's pretty fun. And so against Testament, I really enjoy the matchup against them. Jacko. I'm in between. I'm in between on Jacko. I don't really have fun, and I don't really I really don't not enjoy it either. It's mostly because to this day I still don't know exactly what Jacko is doing, but I do have a decent win percentage against Jacko's, but it's just like I don't really know what she's doing, and so therefore I'm really just trying to again hyper focus on what this character is doing. And so because I'm so focused, I'm not really paying attention on whether or not I'm enjoying this matchup or not. So there we go for that. Eno. This matchup is unfun. I think this matchup is unfun because and I do think Pot can handle Eno really well. The only thing that makes this matchup really unfun is the mix. I'm very free to Eno's mix because dude, and I know how to beat it too. Like if they go too high, you can 6P if they go for the second move in the air, and like you can use Heat Knuckle and all that. But it's just not enjoyable for me. This character, I know it's not really considered that great, but when I'm playing Potemkin, dude, it's just like I feel like there's so much that I'm watching out for. And honestly, it might be Chemical Love. Chemical Love might be the one thing that I think makes this matchup unfun for me, because although you can flick it, the move is so huge and so fast, my reaction time is not up there for that move. So I'm pretty free to that. So I consider that matchup kind of unfun. And lastly, we have Bridget. Where do I want to have Bridget? Honestly, I'm going to put it in neutral just because I haven't fought enough Bridget. Truthfully, I think she is a really cool character to play. I think she's cool. I think her game plan allows for a lot of freedom. But as Potemkin versus Bridget, I have not had a whole lot of experience fighting her. So I'm going to put it in neutral for now. Maybe if I come back and look at this again after some patches or whatever, yeah, maybe it'll change. So that's pretty much it. I do appreciate you all checking out this video. I know this is not, I'm really trying to just play around with a lot of different things, because I do think there's so much content to enjoy with this game still. And I want to do the new Street Fighter footage. However, I know Capcom is kind of like striking those down right now, and so I don't know if I can actually look at it. But as soon as I have not looked at the footage, but as soon as Capcom gives the okay, hopefully they do, I'll go ahead and pop up some videos for you guys looking at that, because I do want to check out the new gameplay for the new characters. And I really want to check out Dawson, because we haven't really seen a whole lot of gameplay from him besides that one time and the when they first like kind of revealed him. So I do want to check those out. But I do appreciate you all checking out this video and staying to the end. And if you have stayed to this point, I imagine you like fighting games just as much as I do. So consider giving this video a like, and consider subscribing and turning on that notification bell so you don't miss any of the fighting game content that I bring you. Also, if you feel like it, follow me on Twitter at Dread01. It should pop up on the screen here. Go ahead and give me a follow. I do pretty much like show when my videos are posted. But with that being said, your boy be out. Peace.